So today we're doing, this is 10-7, volume of prisms and cylinders. So the overall general formula is the volume is equal to the base area times the altitude. So we use the big B for base area because the little b is just a line on a parallelogram or on a rectangle or on a triangle. Big B is the area of the base. Do you understand? So whenever you see that big B, you should be saying base area. All right, so what shape is this? Or what kind of polyhedron is this? Naomi? It's a rectangular prism. So, with a rectangular prism, again, I'm going to find the base area times the altitude. Okay? So, what kind of base does that shape have? Yes? It's a rectangle. So, what's the area formula for a rectangle, Geo?
Length times width.
Length times width, and then I multiply it by the altitude, the line that goes between the two bases. Length times width times the altitude. All right, and the next one. What kind of base does it have? Geo?
Triangle.
It is a triangular base. Okay, so general formula is volume equals base area times the altitude, but the base is made up of what formula?
1/2 times
Rebecca?
base height.
Right, 1/2 times base times height. And then I do also times the altitude. Okay? Now, all right, next shape. What is the base of this object? We're going to start with our general formula. Volume equals base area times altitude. Alexander,
Rectangle.
is the base of this?
Circle.
It's a circle. And so what is the circle formula for the base? Rebecca?
A equals pi r squared.
Right, they're equivalent, so I don't need the A equals here. I'm substituting in for the base pi r squared. Then times the altitude. We're going from one base to the next. See that? So pi r squared times the altitude.
Wait.
Okay? Now we're going to try it. What's the general formula for volume? Let's go with Geo.
Volume equals the area of the base times altitude.
Base area times the altitude. Now, refresh me. Do you guys know what volume is? How is it different from surface area? Ruby.
The volume is the space inside of the figure.
Right. It's how much I can pour inside. Surface area is the outside surface. Volume is how much I can pour inside, either liquid or rice or something I can fill it with, candy. Okay, what is the base area formula? What's the base area formula for, hold on. Okay, so what is the base? What formula, Melody? Length times width. And I substitute that in. And what are the numbers we're going to substitute in for the length times width of the rectangle? How about Isaac?
The numbers 10 and 5.
10 and 5. Okay, so length and width 10 and 5, and my altitude would be that 7. When I multiply it out, what does it come to? Damien?
350.
Right, and if there's no units, I want you to think of it like this. Okay? It's units times units times units. That's why it's units cubed in the answer. Okay? So it's units times units times units. Oops. And so, actually, so it's units times units times units. So the answer is 350 square units.
No, cubic.
Cubic units, sorry. Always happens when I'm recording. I get nervous. All right. Next one, number 2. General formula, please. Somebody I haven't heard from. General formula. Aiden?
Volume equals base area times altitude.
Right, base area times altitude. Now, what shape is the base? Somebody I haven't heard from. Sarah. It's a trapezoid base. So what's the formula for a trapezoid, please? Aiden.
1/2 times height times b1 plus b2.
Perfect. So that's 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Order doesn't matter. I could have done the bases first, the height second, or height first. Then times the altitude. Now, what are the numbers that I am going to substitute in? What are the numbers I'm going to be substituting in? Let's go with Dylan.
Well,
How about for the bases first?
the bases are 5 and 11.
Okay, so one base is unidentified. Which base is unidentified? Okay, the first base, this one right here, it's not really identified, but it's parallel to this, so it has to be 5. The other base, you said, is 11, right here. Now, the altitude that I'm substituting in, Dylan, it'll be the 8. What is the line that takes them between the two bases? Okay, so it's 5 and 11 added together, and then times the height. Okay? Now, yes.
Why is the 4 there?
Oh, because we needed it. I'm sorry. You know what? I put the 8 is the altitude, and I forgot to put that in. Look. Let's go back. Let me go back. Clear it up. Okay? We've got the base 1 is in red, is in blue. Okay? Well, let's put it back in red. Okay? The bases are in. This is the base of base 1 and base 2 of the trapezoid. Now, what is that for, Gio? That's the height of the trapezoid. That's the height of the trapezoid. That's here. And then what's the 8? The altitude, that's the 8. Do you understand the difference there?
Yeah.
Okay, I left that out. I'm sorry. So I substitute in, and now we simplify. What do we do first? Order of operations. Naomi. Good. Order of operations, we do the parentheses, and that is? Thank you, Naomi. What is it?
16.
Thank you. Okay, so it's 16. Whoops, times 1/2. Now, I'm going to just make that. It's 116 times 1/2 times 4. And then I have that times 8. Now I can put them all over 1. And then we can cross cancel. And I'm left with 8. And 8 times 4 is 32 times 8 is 256 square units. Cubic units, gosh. Cubic units. Yes.
How'd you get the 16? Oh, okay.
Because I added the 11 and a 5. All right. Volume of a cylinder. Question.
What is altitude like?
Altitude is the height of the object between the two bases. The line that takes it between the two bases.
Oh,
Okay? Now, cylinder. Cylinder. What is the base area? We're going to do base area times altitude. What's our base area? What shape is it, Aiden?
circle.
It's a circle, and what's the formula?
8, well...
We don't need the A.
Equals...
We,
Okay, just pi r squared.
pi r squared for the circle. I'm substituting in for the base. And then times the altitude. Now, what number... Disregard my drawing there because it's just not translating over from a PC formula. Okay, so it's pi r squared. All right. What number am I substituting in for pi? I mean for r. R. Geo. 4. I got to take half of the diameter. So it equals pi times 4 squared times... What is the altitude of the object, Damien? 9. Okay? So if I leave this in terms of pi, I'm going to get 16 times 9. And my final answer in terms of pi is, I believe it's going to be 144 pi. And it is cubic units. 144 pi cubic units. Now that's the exact version. If I'm doing the estimated version, I then have to do what? Let me go with Daniel. What do I do? Okay, Gio.
You have to multiply 144 times 3.14.
And we get 452 and 1600 square cubic units. Okay, so this is exact. And this is estimated. Okay, yes.
For the exact, did you multiply 16 times 9?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And 16 times 9 is 144. Okay.
And how did you get the 452?
I multiplied pi times 144.
Oh, okay.
Pi times 16 times 9.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
On our homework, can we do exact?
Well, it's going to depend on what it's asking for. It's probably going to be exact. All right. What if they give you something like this? It's pretty complicated. Why is it not, George? What's the base?
40.
What is the base area? What is the shape?
Rectangle.
Aiden.
It's a hexagon.
It's a hexagon. Why is this actually pretty easy?
Because... What?
Okay.
Damien.
Sorry.
Because you can figure out what the base is.
Because it can be
How do we figure out the base? Okay, Aiden.
Because the... Isn't... Oh...
Do you know the area formula for a hexagon? Do you have to know it?
No.
Why? Because it's given. It's given. They're telling you the base, whatever the area, they're telling you the entire base area is 40. So I just substitute that in. And the altitude is the 7. Okay? So now what do we end up with? George?
280.
280 cubic units. Okay? Questions? All right. One last. You want to try this one?
I already know it.
Shh. Okay, what is it?
I believe it's 216.
Did you do the math? Okay, let's not just guess. Let's do some math. Okay, because I'm recording. Very good. Okay.
You got me scared.
All right. Let's look at these. Now, how is this different? Now, my PowerPoint does it a little bit different. They take the base. They find the base. And so like that would be the parallel base. Like that and that. But I would just say, find the volume of this part and find the volume of this part and add them together. I think that is easier for me. So, they're saying the base area is made up of a rectangle. You can do it this way too. So it's side squared because it's a square. And the triangle is 6. And this height here, this height right here has to be how much? How much does that height have to be, Aiden?
For the triangle, it is 3 because you do 9 minus 6.
Right, because if this much is this and this is 9, and if this much is 6, then the rest of it has to be 9. Okay, it has to be 3. So we're doing 6 times 6 for the base square part, and we're doing 1/2 base times height for the triangle. Okay? 1/2. What would the base be for the triangle?
6.
And what is the height of the triangle?
3.
3. Okay?
18.
And I've got a technical difficulty, so I guess I'm going to have to finish writing it in. So it's plus 1/2 6 times 3. Now that's for the base area. But remember, we then have to multiply it by the altitude. So let's finish figuring this out. This cancels out. I'm left with 3. And so that's 9 plus 36 is what?
45.
45. So my base area is 45, but then I have to multiply it by the altitude. And what is the altitude?
9.
An altitude takes you from one base
Oh, 10.
to the next. That's this one right here. So it's times 10, and so it would be equal to 450. Questions? All right. I'm going to stop the recording here because